Well, it is time for more Pokemon. We are in this place. I forgot the name of it. Zapapico. There we go. And there's still a huge amount of map for us to explore, which I think we all kind of already knew. But I hope you all are having a good day. Today is April 1st, April Fool's Day, as it were. Let me just tell you that as a clown, I kind of think that that's a little bit culturally insensitive. Like, do you people not understand the idea of being a fool? And the idea is to bring joy and jest and merriment, and occasionally to shit on people who are in charge of things. Meanwhile, you've got all of these companies and everyone else whose basically their entire goal is just to hurt people. And you have a lot of other people who the same sort of approach when they get a little bit personal with some of this stuff. Like, anytime you get a company that, you know, this is more the first example than the second, obviously, but a company that'll be like, oh, well, we're going to do this thing, April Fools. And it's like, okay, now, obviously, I'm sure that most of you understand by now that this is at least like halfway a bit. Obviously, I come in here and I start off with a line, as a clown, I think this is culturally insensitive. And if anybody is confused at that point, well, then you're just dumb. And there's nothing else to say about it. But genuinely, oh, hey, a horde of Carkol. It's the middle stage of that Pokemon, not the first one. I'm reminding myself of that because I'm dumb. But genuinely, I just think that April Fool's Day is, like, deeply annoying on several levels. And people are just not good at making jokes that are, like, actually funny. And some people will probably be like, oh, well, that's just a you thing. But genuinely, if you look at how often we have to keep reminding people every fucking year and say to people, hey, don't do these kind of jokes. They're not funny. They're just insensitive. Maybe it's not just me. God damn it. Anyway, I'm sending the worm out to go and do a little bit of business in this area. A little bit of worm business. As, of course, we're going to probably get some lag because we are really just right next to Tagtree Thicket, which is the place where the frame rate goes to die. Genuinely, I'm not sure why it's so bad over there, but that's video games for you, you know? Things are a little bit crusty and janky and kind of awful, I think would be the right word there. Awful. Yes, that seems correct to me. That seems like the right way to refer to it anyway. Or so I presume. Yeah, buddy, can we get you to level 30? That's what I'm looking for. And then we'll go back to doing real things here. As opposed to just beating up these huge pile of Carkols that I'd say likely don't deserve it, but also maybe they do, for all I know. But yeah, we're at level 30. Back we go. Let's have ourselves a nice little look around this area. Oh shit, we can glide. Right, it's climbing that we couldn't do. I forgot already. Because to me, being unable to glide seems like the thing that would be the bigger imposition. Although I guess the climbing ability is kind of busted, so I'm just an idiot. And that's all there is to say on the matter, as is often the case here. Here, you want to clean these up real quick? Sure. Why not? Let's get rid of all of these Hariyamas and stuff. I feel like a Hariyama would be worth a decent chunk of experience. Deal with this Cufant. Cufant, also known as, hey, there's already a better elephant Pokemon in the game. Come on. Why do we need this? Oh, right. Because it's never possible to know if Game Freak is running out of ideas or not. Because sometimes they'll do something very silly like, oh yeah, we basically just literally made this Pokemon that already existed. And then other times they'll actually remember some very simple idea that they've never had before. Like a ghost sword or a dolphin. And they will just actually remember to make that a Pokemon. And you'll suddenly have to be like, huh, we actually didn't have one of those, did we? That's weird. Oh, you're a dragon trainer. I can tell that much. So, let's deal with this. Are you gonna not use a dragon Pokemon? Oh no, that's a dragon grass type. Saw its eye bug out. Appleton is a pretty cute Pokemon. Pretty good one. A+. Oh. Weird moment of just hang there, as opposed to the game slowing down. It just briefly stopped for like half a second. Also, why do like 90% of Pokemon that you 90% of Pokemon trainers make that DreamWorks face when you fight them? It's so common. I don't know why, other than the fact that they were just like, well, here's something simple that we can stick onto it. Nobody's paying attention to this anyway, right? And I think the belief that nobody's paying attention to this anyway is why you get a lot of people doing various things that are lazy, like using AI. All that clown bullshit. Which also, again, no clowns are involved there. No jestery in that department. I was about to say, where are you? Blending in pretty good, actually. Now, my issue is how am I supposed to get this item? Oh. It is literally that easy. I was expecting to not have it be literally that easy. That's Espeon. I was like, I can't tell very well from the glare. That bright glow. For some reason, they put Espeon in this weird cave that is otherwise full of Salandits. A Pokemon I'd be quite happy to ignore, but unfortunately, this thing decided to get in my way, as is usually the case in a case like this. Oh, this one's actually female, the first one that we've encountered so far. Kind of a shock, actually. Since Salandit is 7 male to 1 female, because it can only evolve into Salazzle if it's female. Because of reasons. And I suppose that in some weird way it does sort of make sense. Not even just from like a perspective of the game being annoying to do that, but just by virtue of the fact that technically, yes, there would be more of the other form just by virtue of more of the female cell end it's evolving into Salazzle. Probably. At least that makes sense in my head. But it is rather bothersome anyway. Leech Life is a pretty neat TM. Shroodle, however, is not a pretty neat Pokemon. Thankfully, we're going to just knock this thing away in, well, probably 2 hits because I mashed into the wrong move there, but hey. Who's actually keeping track? And the answer is not me. As usual. But it's dead now, so good enough. That apparently unlocked... Oh, right. The TM unlock was for finding Leech Life, not fighting a Shroodle for, like, the first time in the game. At least I think that's the first wild Shroodle we've encountered. Which is probably fine. That thing, not great. Grafai bothers me a little bit too, but I think that's because it's like weird, overly long fingers. It's not actually that strange, though, I don't think. In the long run, it's just only slightly. Anyway, nothing on our team can learn Leech Life right now, so that's a pity. We would need something else to learn that. I heard you, buddy. Where's the coin, man? That far away, right? Okay, that's a tadpole. This way. There it is. It's inside the bush. All that work for 1 coin? Eesh. Things ain't worth what they used to be. And yet are also far more expensive than they used to be. Fucking economy. What a load of crap. Oh, that was a Zorua, not a Mimikyu. But I believe Mimikyu can spawn in this area, so... It's not as weird as all that, I swear. Yeah, you go ahead and fight that Spidops, buddy. And let's fight this trainer. A dress? I mean, I guess in theory they kind of do have one, but not phrasing I would think of normally. He's got a Pelipper, which kind of makes sense for a male man a little bit. Level is this thing? Is level 27. That's not a Pokemon I have to be worried about. But it might take a couple of hits anyway. For some reason. Oh, don't confuse me. That would suck. It didn't confuse me. Hell yeah. Thank goodness. I am quite happy about that. That's right. How's about your lunch money, buddy? Go get that thing. Toad School. They have a very funny, like, high-speed running animation as well. That I might, at some point, get to actually show off if I remember to let them do it. That's a pretty big if, though, because they usually don't. They aren't exactly very common wild spawns. I mean, you see a couple of them, but they generally don't appear as, like, the big bunches that you get for most other Pokemon. Ooh, level 32. Would have learned to move. I can go take a look at that in a few. Maybe it's something good. It's probably something kind of average. I mean, level 32? Yeah. What do you got? That bite? Is that what you were trying to learn? No, I think it might have been Aqua Tail. Which is a little bit more sensible. A lot of these random spiders here. What? Hey. I was picking up an item. I'm a little bit busy, Clavel. You again? I'm gonna keep giving him that every single time. Are you now? I mean, we still got a few of them, so... thanks. Very strange man. I didn't realize that I was actually, like, right at the door of Atticus's place there. I don't think we get a fly point over here until we actually go and beat him, though. But honestly, I'm just here to sort of explore around and... You know, maybe in the process I'll get some stuff. Make no guarantees. Oh, hey, it's Pinecone. No, it's not. It's Zorua. All right. Well, that's fine. We should be able to take care of this anyway. Yep. Shockingly easy fellow there. Yeah, let's not go in there just yet. Also, I think I appreciate the, like, metallic clank that you make when you slam into, those fences with Koraidon. Even when they're not really very metallic objects, it's pretty funny. Oh, well, that's a little bit... it doesn't actually matter very much. I guess feint is nice to if I was guarding, but I'm not using it for technical. Yeah, the camera angle is a bit of a choice. I mean, of course, at least part of that is because Gyarados is quite large and floats off the ground, so they're using sort of a fixed camera angle that's fine for short Pokemon. But we've got a team of some comparatively big boys here. Also, how you doing around the wheel? Hope you're having yourself a good evening. So we evolve Knackle Stack into Garganicle. Garganackle. Big fucking Salt Rock. Place another move with Arm and Hammer. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think I need Bloodshot. If I get another strong physical ground type move, I will dump Headbutt for it. Honestly, this Pokemon is not going to be moving fast enough to make nothing flinch for a while. And by a while, I mean possibly ever. Oh, and because Komala is here, I guess I can point out that one of the funnier shinies out there is that Shiny Komala just changes the color of the log. There have been some suggestions of it implying that Komala is just the log and the koala is kind of an ancillary part of the Pokemon. I don't know if that necessarily scans, but it is a funny theory, so I'll give the people who say that some credit. Gotta go pick up the boy. Yeah, fair enough. Well, I appreciate you stopping in no matter what, Roundy. And anyone else who just stops in briefly. Shadow Claw. That is good if we have anything that can use it. If not, it's kind of neutral. Just means that we have it for later, in that case. When maybe we will use a Pokemon that can learn move. Which is still definitely some level of option. Anyway, I came back up here because I thought I heard a Gimme Ghoul. Might be across the way. Well, good luck to us finding out, because we couldn't stay up there. Anyway, I wanted to go look at... Well, I guess we have one Pokemon that can learn Water Pulse, and the same with Chilling Water. Those don't really do a whole lot for us, though, ultimately. Shadow Claw is pretty low down. That can be taught only to our Crocodile, who doesn't really need that, because Skeledirge already has a Ghost-type move, and is a special attacker. So, I guess that means kind of neutral. And thank you. Hello, Irene. Hope you're having a good evening. As I said already to the other fella. You know, same thing for everybody. I hope everyone's having a good evening. Or whatever time of day it is. I mean, what am I going to say if it's a different time of day for you? Like, no, F you, I hope you have a bad time. That'd just be stupid and weird and a bit exhausted, but mostly good. I mean, a bit exhausted tends to happen easily enough anyway, so that's fair. That's completely understandable. Let's go get healed. And I accidentally talked to the Pokemon guy instead. Whoops. Oops! Just ignore that. And especially ignore that Varoom that's coming in from off screen to be like, hey! I'm here too, guys! Yeah, okay, good for you, buddy. So I think it might be a little bit early to head into Atticus's lair here, but we'll deal with that in a bit. Yeah, Tev, we're here at our least favorite part of the map, the one that makes the game kind of absolutely lose its mind by being super, in the sense of getting very, very slow. Yeah, I don't know what that's like on PC because I have it on Switch. So I don't know how much resizing or anything you can do with that. But I mean, you can mess with the window sizes inside of the emulator for the games, but that's not, you know, that's in a different sense of that anyway. Sort of janky climb our way up here a little bit. Like we're really playing a Bethesda game. Except without Todd Howard. I say that like he's a character in his own games. Oh, maybe he is. Can't remember when the last time I played a Bethesda game was. Neat, we got we got 3 coins, which is better than earlier when I was just like absolutely fucking up at getting a set of them and it was only 1. Thank you, game, for making me look like a complete fool wasting my time. I don't need the help with that. Come on. Liquid snake. Oh, I get it. I still need to play a Metal Gear Solid game on here at some point. When did I play MGS1 last? It was like probably over 10 years ago. Snake, did you like my sunglasses? What an incredibly ridiculous man that is. Alongside everyone else in those games, to be honest with you. Hey, go deal with that. Taking a funny route to get there. Old worm dingler. Not enough range for us to get over to that little hill there. Oh, your map keeps spinning? I've had that issue before. There was one time so this is years ago. In fact, oh my god, I think this was like 10 years ago because this would have been when I graduated from university. That I had a week of just streaming bad games for one session each, and I played the first Hyperdimension Neptunia game for one session, and I had the mouse apparently in such a position, because I was playing the PC version for some reason, where the camera was just spinning constantly, and I was like, what the hell is wrong with this? What did I do and why? And it turned out that the answer was actually quite simple. The problem was that I wasn't playing a game that is really worthy of any respect. Oh, I thought you got that one already, buddy. It appears you did not, though. Well, alright. You can fix that problem now. What I run into... Oh, it's one of these things. You're invisible for a reason. It's because nobody should ever look upon a Strudel. Not an ideal Pokemon. Here, what happens when I do... Oh, just that? Miraidon has more, like, details and blinking lights and stuff when you run in a circle like that. Some more blinking lights, as it were. Oh no, that was Deerling. I was like, what is that thing? That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I saw it at a weird angle, so... Guess what happens then? I get confused because it looks... I'd say it looks normal, but that's not correct. Although, Deerling is a normal type, so... Normal grass for some reason. Air Slash, that's pretty neat. Anyone in the team get that? No. Not with our current... Not with our current team, anyway. I can't jump over that. Well, that's disappointing. That's mildly what you might consider to be disappointing. Let's fly over here. And we're going to shuffle our team up a little bit in order to be able to deal with things a little bit here. Oh, yeah. That's right, I don't have to come over here to use the boxes. What am I thinking? Problem might be that I'm not, so... That, and... Off we go to... Go face the poison guy. Go deal with Poison Jam real quick. Wait, no, that's Jet Set Radio. I've thought about streaming Jet Set Radio Future, but I'm kind of worried about getting just absolutely massacred with copyright claims and stuff because of some of the music that's used in it. And the fact that you really cannot do anything about it. Because, yeah, obviously, like, Hideki Naganuma has quite a lot of songs in there, but also... There's kind of a lot that are licensed from other artists who aren't just like people who make game soundtracks. In fact, a couple of those songs I think might actually have been popular outside of that game if I'm not mistaken. So that seems like a bit of a problem. And honestly, that's just kind of a thing that bugs me about games and streaming in general, is like, get the fucking copyright hogs out of here for any of this shit, because that's just a thing that exists for a non-zero amount of games, is that they happen to use this music, and it's like, okay, inside of these contexts, like, I don't think you should get to drop the hammer on people doing stuff like that, you know? They're not just, like, blasting the album separately, and I mean, quite frankly, I kind of feel like most of the time that shit is driven by record companies, and I don't really give a shit what a record company thinks, especially not a particularly big one. Like, if I dropped in here and I wanted to play you guys, like, a Rush album or something, and Mercury Records, or whoever owns Mercury Records, was like, that's a multi-billion-dollar company. You can suck my dick, you know? I don't fucking care about you. You're not people once you have that much money. Anyway, I digress. Look at this very small fellow. Don Atticus calling himself Don, and or letting other people call him a Don. What an absolute Dorcas. Anyway. Yeah, it does ultimately kind of go like, I wouldn't really be the sort of person who's like, yeah, I want to use this to broadcast music. I'm not Fantano or anything like that, but for anything that's actually in a game, that's a point where it's like, okay, forget about any other things you might have to say about that in any direction. If it's already in the game and you as a corporation are getting mad about it, just say that you don't want people to broadcast your game, which I feel like there's been to me, it's always kind of been like, this is the sort of thing where if they wanted to, they could just put the kibosh on it no matter what, and what would there be to actually say anything about that? Also, yes, Mr. Grunt is very funny. But yeah. And yeah, Tev, there is that also, that, like, I don't think a whole lot of those artists are actually getting that much, that many royalties. And, like, also, not for nothing, even if I did have a big audience, I don't think anyone is losing that much money from me theoretically broadcasting any of that music on my stream. But I digress. Oh god, I actually don't remember that story. What a pathetic motherfucker. Like, shit, dude. Oh my god. Thinks the games promote violence? Like, God, why do people suddenly become fucking brain dead whenever video games show up? Oh, right, it's because people perceive them as toys for children, and therefore they think that there can't be any more, like, depth or anything to them. They think that children are incapable of thinking. This is why you also get people who, like, are so devil may care or even opposed on some level to games with, like, real, actual meaningful storylines. And for me, it's sort of like the opposite direction of, like, okay, if you're making something for children, you are even more in a position where you are kind of obligated, I suppose I should get my words together if I'm going to rant properly, but, you know, where you're even more obligated to kind of be careful about that sort of thing. Also, yes, this rain effect is so low frame rate right now. So, yes. Yeah, honestly, that sounds 100% like what I would expect out of... And yeah, there is a coin, but a coin man. Coin man! Make that noise as fast as you can. I shouldn't do that. The estate of Chris Cornell will sue me, and then I'll actually feel bad, because I liked Chris Cornell quite a bit. Unfortunately, he took his own life like 5 years ago. I think it was 5 years ago. Time is fake anyway, so, like, for me to say something like that, it's like, it is always just a guess. Anyway, that's a big bummer. These guys have Set Viper for some reason, which is like, wow. Were you not cool enough for Arbok? Set Viper, I believe, is considered by several of the more like high caliber nerds to be one of the very worst Pokemon ever in terms of playability. Which is a bit of a shock, but if I recall correctly, it is sort of this Pokemon that's just, you know, like in the most prime position to be just barely disappointing. Which I kind of identify with a little bit on some level. Isn't the song Iron Man about womanizing? Oh, I get it. It was in the first Iron Man film, so on some level. Actually, for someone like me who basically only listens to boomer music, the first couple of Iron Man movies I think actually had some pretty good soundtracks. Oh god, they have a lot of these guys out, so that's going to cause some issues for our rock and ground oriented Pokemon. Because I also remember that first film had some AC/DC song in it. Shoot to Thrill, I think. And the second one used Thunderstruck in the trailers, because I guess all of them are just like, hey, yeah, we need this. We need to use this really, really cool music that's like... Man, I don't know. I think that new music still has very much the possibility to actually have some, like, good quality to it. I'm not the sort of person who's about to throw out all of like, newer music because I listen to, you know... I listened to shit that was new when my dad was half my age. Unfortunately, I kind of wish that, like, people in my parents' generation stuff would wake up to things the other way. You know, I skipped over Atticus's first message here. He's got a very old-timey kind of way of talking to us. Come then, villainous wretch! A plunge into grim poison shall be your well-deserved fate. On guard! Yeah, he's really trying to Urianger it up a little bit, but he doesn't thou enough for me. You know, he's not exactly speaking anti-mage language, which is a little bit sad. But you can see he's also kind of like trying to go for the ninja vibes a little bit, so it's probably not that surprising that it's like, hey, I'm starting with a skunk for some reason. Gina. God, that's right. His name is They don't want to actually say as much, but his name is Magina, which is slightly unfortunate, isn't it? But, I wonder if he's bald under there. Or got, like, just one tiny little funny-looking tuft of hair. Good earthquake animation, BT dubs. Oh, he used toxic. Oh, his skunk barfed on us. Ew. I'm gonna have to clean that up later, you know. And I'm saying that because you won't be here when I'm done with you. You're gonna run away, ain't you? Ouch! That's that old Doug Trio, no defense. Well, I actually forgot, so... In that case, it's me being a fool. About to send out Rev of Room, so... The question is that a separate one or is that the Starmobile? I don't think it's the Starmobile, but, yeah. Because Rev of Room is a Steel Poison type, so there's just every possibility, yeah, he's sending out a different one. And then Rev of Room just dies, not wanting to be a part of this anymore. About to send out Muck. See, that special attack increased indeed. Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the rest of this we can just use the Ostrich because, I mean, he's got a Muck, which actually lived through that because... Probably because Muck has like a huge HP stat. It is weirdly good for back in the day. I don't think they ever buffed it. Which is a surprise. And now he's sending out the truck. Do you think that this Rev of Room is ever just like, oh, god damn it, I gotta lump around this stupid car everywhere. I just like also alternately really hates the sound of the music that's blasting out of those speakers. It really can't stand gamer LEDs. I don't know. But it's out of here. I would find it fun if one of these trucks were to break down and the guy on the back would just like fall off in a really over-the-top manner. This guy would be excellent for it, in my opinion. About a year and a half ago, so slightly more recent. Oh, that's what he looks like underneath it. That's a comparatively normal hairdo, actually. And yeah, he's the fashionable kid. I mean, you can kind of tell looking at those robes. That's not really the word I'm looking for, but it's like that guy either has a really good or a really awful fashion sense, or perhaps both. And for sure, you got to custom make that shit yourself. Okay, there he goes with a thigh. That's, you know, he's doing it a little bit. He's anti-maging slightly a little bit. Contraption. God, he is so funny. And see, it's easy to feel bad for these guys. They've had a rough go of a lot of things. This kid seems pretty cool. Even if he is also kind of a huge dork, but I mean, that fits a little bit with the other guy, right? Atticus. I can't even give him a nickname because fucking Blue Sky recently with their new AI thing called Addy. Oh boy. Like, I hope bad things happen to Jay or whoever the fuck it is who is running that shit. Anyway, however, the account, I think, became the most blocked account on the website in, like, a day. Excuse me. Except maybe for JD Vance, which I think that, you know, the top two are there either way. They could be in either order and it would still be funny in its own way. But I digress. Big boss! Wait. That's right, this mysterious individual is sending us some Let's Plays to watch. In case we get bored on our journey. We can ignore those. I mean... Oh yeah, did they sack you over here with the big sack of stuff? Are you sure? I'm pretty sure this thing knows how to use a phone. Oh, they don't show it actually make contact. Boo! You're doing it wrong. Wait. Just saying it would be funnier that way. But also, yeah, Koraidon slowly turning into Scooby-Doo. Couldn't you folks give me ghoul coins among those, please? Oh, oops. That's not my start button. My start button, I guess it's actually called the plus button, but to me, that's going to always be the start button, and whatever the hell Nintendo feels like making up about it, I don't agree with their naming choices. In theory, there are quite a few other... Well, there's definitely quite a few other decisions that Nintendo has made over the years that I don't agree with. But the first thing I was going to say was going to be something that Nintendo can't. So, I digress. Get some stuff lying around in these corners here. think I hear another one. Yeah, right there. Yes, we sell them. Oh. Oh, you mean... It's going all right. We beat Atticus and we got some levels. That's about all that's happened so far. Not as eventful as last stream's first hour was, but I mean, to be fair, the fact that we came through here and we beat this area is like, of course, that's going to mean that there's less going on in that period of time because, oh boy. That area is that's a bit of a mess. It's okay. We'll go somewhere where the frame rate will probably be better. I think. Oh God! In the middle of Tantry Thicket, I feel like I'd be concerned about that despawning. Also, hey, we've got Doug Trio now. You can learn Shadow Claw, right, buddy? You learn all those slashing moves. I just have to remember where the hell that is in the list. Yeah, see? That's a good Pokemon to use that move. You can get rid of Astonish, finally. I mean, that's one that it certainly could have been, yes, I think. They do spawn in that area anyway, so there's that. I already have one of those, so. What? Wow, I didn't see you there, dude. That's the second female Salandit that we've encountered out of Salandit encounters back-to-back. That's statistically unusual. Looks like it's from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. From part 5. I mean, I could see it. That level of ridiculous outfit. Yeah, part 5, I think, honestly, probably was, like... It's hard to say, because... Look at the series we're talking about, but... That does kind of seem like a bit of a peak for crazy outfits. I saw that dino over there. I thought about catching it, but, like... It evolves at level 50, and then that evolves again at level 64. I'm thinking that the correct response to that is... Are you out of your fucking mind? Part 7 is in a weird position right now. They did start releasing part 7. I don't know if they, like, dumped the whole series on Netflix again or something. The whole season, but... Part 7 is supposed to be being animated. Jumping backwards? I mean... I can't quite make that, I don't think. That's okay, I'll come back for it later, possibly, or forget. Huh. So I gotta do it from, like, a different place or something? I get you. There's probably all kind of, like, goofy shit that you can do with stuff like that in this game. I just don't know how to. For the most part. But yeah, I did see the trailer for Part 7 back when that came out a while ago. Like, probably over a year at this point. I thought the horse animation looked pretty good, which is... Probably sounds like a very specific thing, but... Horses are kind of a pain in the ass. On a lot of levels, but... From a perspective of, like... From, like, an artistic perspective specifically is what I'm saying here. That... They frequently are, like, hard to draw, and God help you if you have to make a move. Both in terms of drawing and in real life sometimes, but... So that's something that I was happy about. The animation on the JoJo anime is kind of hit and miss, but also... I think that in general, translating it from still images to animation, something is going to end up looking different no matter what. And... Yeah, so you're basically always going to be in that position of like, well, the results are, you know, could be better at times. But I will say, the Part 3 anime was better than the Parts 1 and 2, from a visual perspective. I didn't finish watching all of Part 4, though. And I think part of that is because I got really caught up in stuff, because that was coming out in my last year of university. And, you know, as a result, things were a bit of a mess there, and it's not like anything in life has become less messy since 2016. I almost said 2026, but that's not correct. And, yeah, so... That wasn't great. I didn't finish watching that, which is kind of wild to think about because I finished watching Izetta the Last Witch. That series wasn't very good. And then I just got too, like, bummed out about about that. And anytime I thought about going back to it, I was kind of in the depths of like, hey, the world is shit and I'm depressed constantly. For reasons that weren't really related to that anime. Obviously, it was more related to, gestures out my fucking window here at the fact that I live in a shithole country, as it were. Oh, and Axew. I forgot those were in this game. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll actually get around to watching more anime sometime. I never finished Legend of Galactic Heroes either. Well, Legend of Galactic Heroes is long as fuck, so that's probably fair. That's probably quite understandable. I never finished Gintama. I'd like to get back to watching through at least the amount of Gintama that was released through the first, 200, 250 or so episodes. Because I stalled out somewhere in the fourth season. At least I think it's the fourth season. I think they were, year-long seasons, basically. There was an anime for the Dragon Quest remake. Adventures of Dai. Isn't that a little bit older than these particular Dragon Quest remakes? Because I gotta be specific there. Dragon Quest 1 was remade on the SNES. So the phrase Dragon Quest Remake here is being taken as a generalized statement, but I feel like unless Adventures of Dai was a manga from like effing years ago that was turned into an anime recently-ish. But I have heard that title before, so we're halfway there. Whoa. Chancy, give me your lunch money. Experience. Lunch experience. Eggs. Egg sandwich. Wait, I don't know where I'm going anymore. Oh, okay. So there was an anime in the 90s too, and it was remade. I gotcha. So I was slightly more correct than I thought. I'll try to remember to look into that. I admit that I haven't really played or interacted with a lot of Dragon Quest stuff. Because I played the first Dragon Quest many years ago, and I was not really a huge fan of it. Except for Dragon Quest Monsters is the one that I have a lot of experience with the GBC Dragon Quest Monsters. I wonder if my old cartridge still has its save file. Because I still have my cartridge somewhere. I still have a Game Boy Color. I could play it on the hardware that I was playing it on when I was a kid. And of course, being old is making me think of doing unreasonable shit like that. I just want to be happy for once in my life. I want to go back 25 years when, you know, we did have President Bush, and that sucked, but things were less awful. And I mean, I know that part of that is like, well, it's because you're an adult now and you were a child before, but also it is just like, yes, actually, there are other reasons why things were better back then. It's a little of column A and a little of column B. But also, you do have to apply anything to do with nostalgia very carefully because, yes. Anyway, that's probably a little bit much in the realm of philosophy for now. I'll tell you this much. A big part of why I haven't ever bothered getting back into... Good Lord, what are you doing up here? And for that matter, just standing on basically thin air. That Vigoroth is almost an impressive fellow. Anyway, a thing I was going to say is a big part of why I haven't gotten caught up into any more recent anime, a big other part is like any of the big things that are popular, I find that people are not good at explaining to you what exactly the reason why they enjoy them are. Not everyone and not in every instance, but man, I feel like back when My Hero was the big thing, I was having just an absolute devil of a time getting anybody to tell me why I should bother with it. I get you enjoy it, but like, for what reason? To avoid sounding like the small child who's being annoying about it, why? Or in the immortal words of Waluigi, wah! Anyway. And so, it's just sort of hit this weird point of like, okay, Jujutsu Kaisen is the new thing, right? That's what people are into lately. And all I can get out of it is like, my perspective of what it is as somebody who hasn't seen it and has attempted to get people to tell me why it's good is that it's JoJo for Zoomers. Except not as good, and that doesn't have anything to do with the Zoomers part. So, yeah, I still don't really know what the hell I'm supposed to actually put to use with those points. they've just always sort of been a feature that Twitch has had implemented that has felt like halfway of a thing. If I can say like anything to do with Jujutsu Kaisen at all, is that I like the design of the guy with the blindfold. The Gojo, I think that's Gojo. As you can tell, I obviously don't know offhand. He looks like a tool. And it's not because of the blindfold, but I do like that he's just like wearing a blindfold constantly. I think that's a pretty good character design. I think I just sort of like characters who wear like eyewear that is not just plain glasses in some way. Put someone in a monocle and I'll be like, yeah, that character is significantly cooler than half of the cast here. Something about... This is the actual reason why 2B and 9S are good characters to me, but I keep bumping into these dogs. They're very hard to see, especially in the ice fields. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some special reason for it. And yeah, he has drip. That's the way folks are saying that nowadays, right? Well, I mean, yes, most people look at 2B for other reasons, but I'm just saying that blindfold is pretty good, and there's a lot of reasons why it's there. For somebody who wants to be like, oh well, it's part of the character design because yes, actually, I played the game when it came out, and I don't want to be a complete asshole to like random people, but also if somebody wants to approach me to like explain something to me like that in sort of a rogue manner, I probably do know more about it than you, so shut the fuck up. Not that there aren't obviously people who are smarter about shit like that than me, but there's a lot that goes into it, and the character is designed in an openly fetishistic way, but there's also a reason for that. I get very like hot under the collar, and I probably could phrase that a little better. I get a little bit heated sometimes when I talk about things to do with Nier Automata, because I've definitely heard some people who are real dumbasses about it. And that's probably true of like most people anybody who's gotten into a game that is like very, very artistic in a lot of ways and is designed by its creator to have a lot of meaning. They've probably met just some complete fucking goon on the internet who did not get it. And I mean goon in the sense of like just some dipshit, not like gooner, which is appropriate for this specific instance. But yes, that is actually true. I'll readily cop to the fact that I did actually try that. I did that myself. Yes, I'll be honest about it. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to go too deep into that, mostly because right now I'm currently sliding around on this lizard with no traction, trying to find my way to, quite frankly, any sort of way marker out here in the big mountain. Realistically, if I want to actually explore this place, I should just go and level grind so that way I can go take on the last Titan, so that way I can climb shit. But I'm also like really hard-headed, and I will do stupid things like this. Energy ball, huh? Now that's pretty cool. I'm willing to bet that the ostrich is like the only Pokemon on our team that can learn that, right? Yeah. That makes sense. Oh, hey, don't slam into that. Don't slam into that tree. It'd be really embarrassing to end up with things going through it that way. Oh, hey, that's not a wild bomb snow. That's just some guy's bomb snow. I saw what I thought was a Ralts over here, but I think it despawned. For all I know... Well, okay, there's a Kirlia. That's kind of close. What I was about to follow up with there was, for all I know, it could have been a Frostlass, which you can just find wild Frostlass in this game. There's a lot of... I said this already, but there's a lot of just stone evolution Pokemon you can find out in the wild in this game, which I think is very interesting. I mean, it's been a bit like that for a while, but it seems like a little bit more in this game, and maybe that's just because of the fact that they spawn in the overworld, creating the illusion of increased numbers when it's not actually any different. Yeah, so if we wanted to go to Grusha, we would be headed more or less south, I think. Because they really did put 2 gym leaders in this big honking mountain, huh? Well, I guess... why not, right? I hear Coins McKenzie over here. Where you at? There. Excellent. Out there. Got a bunch of triangles just hanging out. Triangle stuff. Something up. I mean, I see a bug crystal on the map, but it's not on that actual peak, is it? I thought it was for a second, but also that's not even the top of the mountain. Eesh. What am I thinking? Oh, right. Not sure that I am. Alright, come on, clean up house here. You can get some free experience and not really gain any levels, because these aren't very strong fellas, are they? They are nothing to write home about, but we'll take it anyway. I mean, hey, completely free, right? Why not? Why not indeed? Why not? Wait, no, that's a different gag. Easier for you to fight that Cryogonal in this mode than it would be in an actual fight, because Cryogonal might be able to take a hit. Well, okay, it wouldn't be very good at it because it doesn't have a whole lot of HP, but it does have special defense, which is worth noting. Worthy of note. Notable. Excuse me. Snowscape. That's our not quite hail. Because hail has been removed as of Gen 9. Replaced with snow. I think I heard that hail is in the Pokemon Champions. I almost called it Pokemon Legends, which is not correct, but you know what I'm talking about. Oh, hey, it's Spiritomb. You don't see those a whole lot. At least they're easier to get now than they used to be back in Gen 4. You had to do that odd Keystone quest. And it was a huge pain in the butt and didn't make a whole lot of sense to a lot of people who didn't know about it already. A bunch of Magnemites out here, so we can do that. Couple of easy pickoffs there for our experience. Oh, hey. Went after a Delibird. One of those. So yeah, that down there is Lagtree Thickets. So we're sitting at the southern tip of the mountain here. So I think we'd like to go a little bit northwest. Because it would be a good idea to have the fly point at North Province. I mean, shit over there is a little bit too strong for us to actually properly deal with right now, but we still haven't gone and fought Larry yet, which, yeah, I don't think he deserves us bullying him, but hey. Unfortunately, sometimes they just make you bulls. Oh. They just get slapped in the face and is like, I don't feel like it anymore. You can say, ass boy. There we go. Or don't, I guess. That thing must be pretty strong. Alright. What are you about, mate? You're slow enough that we should be able to run away. It's exerting pressure, yeah. Level 49. I mean, that is kind of a lot, but also, and we missed. Wow. Oh. didn't have to make any effort. Yeah! Thank you. Thank you very much, Spiritomb. I mean, we could have caught that, and that would have sucked for if we were going to catch it, but I actually did just want the experience. So it deciding to kill itself to do basically nothing to us, especially because the battle was just about to end, so that is not exactly a long-lasting effect, to put it mildly. Hey, I'll gladly accept that. It solved the whole problem for me. Oop. Bumped into a schnom. Okay, well, there's a little tower down there. And we basically just go straight to the west from there, and we get to the North Province Pokemon Center. Hyper Beam. That's almost interesting, but only almost. Put Mr. Rossetti at the front to deal with this. Oh, we bumped into a Palmo here. This thing is going to be pretty high level, right? Level 4. Oh, it's just Palmy, pardon me, not Palmo. Level 49. Which is still not impressive because it's an incredibly fragile electric type that holds to an earthquake. So if we want to farm items here, we kind of got to be a little bit careful, but going for it anyway. Gonna have a little bit of a look around. Is one guy. Stools? Not quite. It's over by the bench. That up. And let's go find out what this horde is. It's Gallade. That's unexpected, really. I forgot you just fight Gallade in the wild sometimes. Or, hell, I probably didn't even think it was common enough to be a horde. Go get him. Oh. We got Halucha is getting a little bit feisty. Magneton should be able to deal with these guys. I want the TM. It's Energy Ball. I don't really need it, honestly. I already have one of those. But hey, why not? Edie. That is a normal psychic type, which is a very interesting thing to be. Well, maybe not as interesting as that. Girafarig already was one, right? Oh, not yet. Seabat up at the lead, and let's see if we can take down one of these Gallade. Yeah, I was going to say, it should be really good against these fellas in Let's Go mode, because they're psychic fighting, and my guy is at least part ghost type. So, it's a pretty serious advantage. And that other type is not, like, poison or something. Anyway. I don't know why I'm still goofing around out here. I should be heading to Medali, which I'm going to do in just a moment. I swear. Yeah, no, I'm serious. I am going to go over there. See, I'm going. Oh, right. That is. Okay. Fly over here. All right, let's go and deal. Oh, you're here too. Of course you are. I don't know what I expected, but I should have expected something else, I guess. She decided not to battle us? I mean, okay. Sure. I didn't say don't, so that's odd. Unless I somehow didn't do my inputs correctly. Order a special secret menu. Interesting. That's an unusual thing. Oh, yeah. 3 challengers with different clues. Find out how the regulars season their dishes. I see. We have to do a little bit of a scavenger hunt sort of thing. For a minute or two, my brain kind of went to, oh, is this going to be a thing where it's where it's like one guard tells the truth and one always lies or something like that sort of thing, and it is not. You can tell how well I remember this. I mean, I remember Larry himself, but the gym challenge? Clearly not so much. Oh, it's Ursa Ring. Uh-oh, Cocaine Bear. Except that by this gen, they had Cocaine Bear 2.0, because Ursa Luna existed. And then, God help you, when you get the DLC, you have Blood Moon Ursa Luna, something that is, like, just legitimately one of the most absolutely cracked Pokemon ever. I am kind of in shock that they were like, yeah, let's just make it this strong. A dark spot surrounded by stairs, huh? Like, you don't remember a dark spot, but surrounded by stairs? I mean, this is kind of surrounded by stairs. It is a little bit dark. Wearing a parrot on his head. What a strange person. Strange individual. Indeed. Okay, so there was actually something over there, yeah? This Fire Blast. So we got one here. Let's see, where's our are all the other trainers inside the restaurant or something? They very well could be. This is a shop. It's a food shop. As you can see, not everybody is loading in very nicely, so... Do you have anything useful to say? You don't. That's okay. Hey, do you have anything to say about that? No, I didn't think so. Well, there's Larry. You got anything to say, Larry? Squeeze of lemon. Okay, so maybe it's not just fight other trainers, but... Change your Pokemon's Terra type. Yeah, definitely. That is actually a thing you can do here. Oh, are you one of the folks I'm supposed to... So just glossed over you earlier. That's fine. Didn't need that speed anyway. About to send out Greedent. We will stay in for that. Because we should also be able to completely obliterate this thing, too. At this rate, I should rename this thing to Exodia. Oh, it didn't even get a one-hit kill, really? I'm shocked, but I guess Greedent is actually, like, weirdly sturdy. Also, it landed a 5-hit seed, bullet seed. That... You bastard. However, after 2 hammer arms, we're still faster than it. Funny as hell. What a terrible Pokemon. Alright, kid. Well, you lost. Odd one out at the ice cream stands. Grilled rice balls. That doesn't really fit in with ice cream. And otherwise, you remember something about lemon and something about fire blast. But I'm going to do one more gloss over. Gloss over is probably not a term I should use in a case like this, but to go take a look and see if I can find one more trainer. Just to be sure, because they said 3, right? Look for that yellow frame on the speech bubble. But I do believe we are ready to go. I just got to make absolutely sure. Oh, here we go. Here's one more. Alright, so maybe the lemon guy was a red herring. Santiago. Find out from you in a second. God, Dunsparce. I appreciate Dunsparce on a certain level. Oh, damn it! Ouch! Wants to learn Aromatic Mist. Yeah, that's not very helpful. Well, we beat him. The blue bird Pokemon. Alright, so I'll be this guy, right? Oh, we just stand there? Medium. Alright. I at you now. Let's go back and heal, so that way we're ready, because we'll probably have to fight Larry right afterwards. And it seems like it'd be a good idea to have our hammer arms all ready to go. All of our Arm and Hammer baking soda. Front. Okay. All right, I think we're ready to go. Let's do this. Gold rice balls. Medium serving. Fire blast style. That's some lemon. As the whole thing just... Where do all the customers go? There were a bunch of people just there. Why? Like, did they just disappear after... Did everybody get up and leave? Did the whole stage flip over? The hell was... I don't know what to say there. The exceptional everyman, Larry. And there he is. Everybody's favorite character, Lawrence. The beleaguered businessman himself. As he opens with Komala. One of those Pokemon that I feel like I've seen Komala be very strong when opponents use it, but I'm never able to put it to great use myself. On the other hand, with our level advantage and using this fucking Salt Rock and Hammer Arm for our move, yeah, it wasn't likely to get much done. Switching in Bathwater to deal with Dunsparce here. Dunsparce, probably one of my favorite Pokemon in this entire generation. Just, what a delightful thing. An incredible creature. Just very, very, very funny. Of course, we're going to need a couple of hits to actually take it down, but that's to be expected. We're using a weaker move with a Pokemon whose physical attack is not as high. Damn. Although, we are still faster even after being paralyzed, so this thing is not a fast Pokemon at all. Hyper Drill is a pure normal type attack. I believe it can pierce through guarding moves, like Protect and that. Don't take my word for it, though. I don't recall for sure. And he's about to send in Staraptor, which is why it's a great thing that we have two normal type users here, as he is going to turn his Staraptor into a pure normal type for some reason. Probably because he just was assigned to do that for some reason by some absolute fucking dimwit who runs the league, which, who could that be? Surely it can't be some absolute fucking dimwit that we've already seen, right? That'd be goofy. Oh shit, the long cutscene in the middle of the battle. I didn't remember that it was this long. That's cute. It's like, oh, my back. Oh, stretching out his knees and everything, yeah. And his Terra Orb, he suffers no knockback from that. He just adjusts his tie and is on his way. Unbothered, in his lane, etc. Larry's pretty great. I'm not worried about that at all. And his bird is down. You just ate, dude. Oh, yeah, definitely a big eater. I mean, it's probably got to... needs to be able to put up with All the bullshit he's got to deal with, right? As he gives us Facade. Excellent. That's a fun and potentially useful move under certain circumstances. Get our Pokemon status affected. Works great on Guts Pokemon, but we don't really have a whole lot of those available to us right now, I don't think. And no Flame Orb, which is what we would really want for that. Oh. Hey, you. Is she that important? No. Ah, I see. She's the head honcho here. She's the big boss. Big boss. Wait, we already did that bit. Oh, okay, look at you, balls. I mean, let's do that. Well, Gita is also kind of like... I feel that Gita is probably more even than Diantha has a claim to being the worst highest level trainer in the league in any of these games. Her team is real bad. Like, kind of embarrassingly so. From what I remember anyway. But also, to be fair, this is kind of an easy Pokemon game most of the time. It's just that you do have the ability to... The main difference is that you can just stumble into a bunch of shit that can easily kick your ass because it's wildly high level. But that's mostly because this game doesn't really have a lot of guardrails. If this were engineered more like a regular Pokemon game, this would be like... This would be such baby tier of a game. And meanwhile, Lycanroc is being folded in half like yesterday's laundry. About to send out Goomy. Well, I got a solution for that. This calls for some Ice Fang. Yup. And you are out of here! What other Pokemon you got? Other than, I know you've got, the big boy. Wants to learn Heavy Slam. Oh, yes. Yes, I think I will. Steel is kind of turning into a good attacking type by this period. One sec. I'm going to belch, so I'm going to mute the mic. That was far less than I was expecting. But you're probably all so glad to not hear it. About to send out Pawmo. So you've got one of these things, huh? One of these rather less than impressive fellows. It's Earthquake. I mean, it's still got to get its chip damage in because it's a rude boy, but you know. Anyway. Its normal name is Garganacl, which is spelled Garganacl. So like gargantuan and knackle for sodium chloride. But yeah, I named it Rubik because it's, you know, cubes, right? Makes sense. Probably. Maybe not. Anyway. I'm not even going to use my Terrassal Orb, although... I was going to say, maybe I should. I don't know if this is going to be a one-shot. For sure or not. Find out in a second. Although Sprigatito is pretty fast, it might actually get some good damage in on me. Does it not have a Dark-type move? Okay. For the Grass Dark Pokemon, I mean, hey. And one shot, as probably to be expected, really. Sprigatito, I don't think has much defense. And Skeletor hits like a tank. Hey, the list of TMs, I think that's from the last battle, actually. We're still getting our status updates because those didn't go away. Yeah, you all knew what I meant. I forgot to say its actual evolved name. Ooh, we got Terrablast TMs. That is kind of nice. What Gita isn't telling us here is that Terrablast deals damage based on what stat your Pokemon's better attacking stat is. Wait, talk to the waiter at the... What do you beat Larry? Is it glitching out, or is it trying to tell me about something else? Because... After we beat that gym leader, that gym battle, we are allowed to go over here, and we can do a thing here where we can hand over, like, really big handfuls of Terra Shards in order to change our Pokemon's Terra type. Oh no, that's not the one I'm supposed to talk to. Yeah, see, and he'll tell us about that. Yeah, Terrablast is very good if you are, like, really terrestrialization happy. I'm not here to change Pokemon's Terra type to normal, but thank you anyway, dude. Because once it sort of hits that situation, it does kind of become like the new hidden power a little bit. But otherwise, it's a little bit lacking. If it stayed the gimmick type, even if you weren't even if you weren't in Terra form, that would be so much better. But excuse me, I think that Game Freak kind of does not want to have what hidden power. I almost said hidden blast. Wow. They kind of don't want what hidden power does in the competitive format that much. And you do have to think about the fact that that is a real thing that they care about. I know that it doesn't always seem like it sometimes, but trust me here. So I don't think our ostrich can learn Draining Kiss, which is unfortunate. But you better believe I am going to go look at the machine anyway and see what the deal is. Yeah, and we don't have access to a Dazzling Gleam TM yet. I don't think Moonblast is one either, so that's kind of also off the table. So, I think what's going to happen here is that Lofen is coming into our party here. Because I want something that has a fairy-type attack for something upcoming. And I'm sure that most of you probably know what that is. Because I mentioned that I wanted to do it earlier on. I don't know if I'm really in a position where I'm like a good enough level to do this anyway, but that won't stop me from trying. Sorry, I'm just removing all these little red dots. They bother me a little bit. Okay, just press down for that, right? Yeah, up to level 34, which is pretty decent. Do better, though. Okay, the rest of our party's levels are in the 40s. Wants to learn Double Edge. Nah, I'm not that interested in Double Edge. Wants to learn Charm. A little late on that, but eh. So I guess now comes the part where I have to go, what can this fella learn? Because there's not actually going to be a huge amount of options, I don't think. Yeah, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if I scrolled through this and I saw, like, only status moves out of my set that are learnable here. I can learn Draining Kiss, but that's special attack and you're definitely a physical attacker, right? Metal Claw. I didn't realize that was a TM. They have so many TMs in this generation, so they definitely have a couple of them that are a little bit shit. Get Trailblaze. Fire Fang. If Thunder Fang was an option, then I really could just make this basically the thing to kill both the battles that I need to get into pretty soon, or mean to get into pretty soon anyway. Any moves worth remembering? The answer is no. But I see we got Covet, Lick, Bite as our other. So we're almost definitely. Yeah, I'm just gonna give it Trailblaze. That seems like a pretty good option, actually. Yeah, Fire Fang we can't get yet because we have to go find some Hound Hours for that. And Shinx for Thunder Fang, but it can learn Thunder Fang, which is pretty nice. That seems like something we should do, actually. So let's go fly out, basically right out to the west of Mesagoza. East, pardon me. Right out to the east of Mesagoza. Yeah, see, it even says east right there. Wow. I can't tell the difference between east and west. It's alright. If you go far enough, either east or west, you will eventually get to the other one. So, at least that's the excuse I'm going with here to justify why it doesn't actually matter that much. But now I gotta find some of these chuckleheads, and it being nighttime might mean that I can't very... Wild Happening. Why don't you go over there and get me some free, like, dust or something. I was gonna say, what's the material gonna be called? It's like fluff. Shell. That's right. We got our pet dog out here chasing random cats. And we somehow bump into this rock through the sign. That's funny. That's pretty funny, game. Good gag. Yeah, that was a little bit rusty. Okay, so with that done, we are headed in the general direction here of Castle Royal Lake. We got to find a Pokemon Center where we can go pick up our TM. Yeah, just the one. That's all I need, and that's all I can make, so... Yep. I think Lick is going to be the one that we get rid of, because the coverage between Ghost and Dark is pretty much the same. Not identical, but it's definitely quite similar. Okay, can you learn any normal type attacks that would be worth me using? I mean, I got Facade. Body Slam. I don't have the parts for Body Slam yet. That's a shame, because that would be really good, actually. Go down here. And it's off to work for us. Going basically just straight north. All right. Dodge around these things. The experience. I guess the bits would be nice too. Oh. Darn. Because the moves don't actually have too great of an effect, really. Time for some clean up your Gauss. Gauss. Tatsugiri over here. Get him. Oh, I didn't say to get that guy, to be fair, so. Get him. Yeah. Level 50 enemies around here. So I do feel a little bit of concern about being a little under-leveled for this upcoming battle. But I like to think we'll be fine. Worst comes to worst, we're not. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem sometimes, is that quite a lot of these Pokemon are like just comically tiny, so you'll crash into them very easily. And especially with how quote-unquote well things load in this game. Excuse me, that just makes it even more of a problem. Get him. Ow. You really couldn't beat that thing, huh? Sheesh. Okay, alright. You do it, Magneton. Seriously? What effing level is this thing? It's gonna be like just 50, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's just 50. You're kidding me, right? Well, at least we know we're speed tied, I guess. Hey, what are you trying to learn? Hydro Pump. Not really. Probably, I just don't remember that most of the time. I don't really do that a lot. Oh. We're getting a call here. False Dragon Titan, huh? Sure would be handy if it just ran around crying, "I'm the Titan" or something. About that, dude. Well, you don't know that yet, do you, Arvin? But soon enough. Trust me on this one. I have plenty of feathers out here, which steel is heavier than. The feathers, for those of you who are like, I don't know what those are. They raise a Pokemon's effort value by 1 for using them on them. Except for the Pretty Feather, which is just worth money. So you can kind of, like, fully tweak out your Pokemon's EV-based stats by just feeding them a shitload of those feathers. But of course, because the EV cap is, like, 510, it's kind of a pain in the butt. And yeah, that's absolutely something you don't need to do most of the time, to be fair. There are much better ways to get there in most cases. But it does actually kind of function for that purpose. But, so, Retro, I will say this, that used to not actually be completely possible to do it with no battles and do that. Because up until, in fact, I think literally up until Gen 9, vitamins could not raise an effort stats effort value total past 100. And yeah, so it basically would just kind of come down to, like, just get the rest of your EVs through fighting wild Pokemon. And honestly, I feel like effort training like that is kind of a pain in the ass anyway, but I digress. I'm also not a competitive Pokemon player, and the only times I ever did, I did with the simulator, as it were. You know, through shit. Through Pokemon Showdown. There we go. I couldn't remember the name of it. Also, ouch. Also, yeah, so this is the big thing that I was afraid of with this one, because Dondozo is our first battle here. There's 2 battles, and it's against 2 different Pokemon. Dondozo, however, so Dondozo is kind of infamous a little bit for being the Pokemon that took over competitive battling in this generation for a while. Because Dondozo has, like, really crazy stats. I mean, I guess you could probably assume that it is basically just, hey, here's what would happen if a catfish was also a fucking whale. I mean, look at this thing. However, thankfully, Magneton is just, like, an absolute champ. So, we took a couple of hits, but we're okay. Look out for that thing. Yeah, Dratini is kind of just hanging out here. Dragonite has sort of become a little bit the one of the least interesting of the pseudo-legendary Pokemon. Or at least I could say that up until Legend Z to A decided to give it a Mega because, you know, Gen 1 basically means that it's a fucking industry plant, so... What, haven't you ever heard of a sea dragon? Oh, that's something else. Sorry. If it was one of those, then it would be Dragalge. Dragalge. I think it might be supposed to be pronounced Dragalge because it's... But... It do kind of just be spelled Dragalge, so... Oh shit, so I don't actually need to have this guy out right now at all. I am a fool. I thought that you fought the Tatsugiri in addition to the Dozo. Or possibly even... There were... Either way, I thought that you actually fought Tatsugiri as an actual Pokemon here. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well... Asterisk, it wasn't going first, but unfortunately it might lose some turns. Come on, get... Yes! 10%! 10%! Yo! Excellent! We love it when that happens. We don't really love that quite as much. That's alright, just keep pushing the one button. And hope we don't get hit with the 5% miss. However, thankfully, Dozo is at least targeting the stupid little squirrel thing, so I'm able to get in my, like, man, realistically, this is still chip damage, but yeah. Hey, we're getting some work done here. Let's finish it off with Play Rough. Although I don't know why I'm doing that, because I was afraid of the 5% miss, because Play Rough, I think, has less accuracy. Anyway, we've... Yeah, see, I knew it was going to happen eventually, but I couldn't remember when. It managed to bait me in, like, a weird backwards way. Icy Wind. Interesting. Yeah, unfortunately, it's pretty beefy in terms of levels, so we're gonna need to land a couple of hits here. I actually would prefer if Arven was using some defense reduction here, but unfortunately, he's relegated himself to spamming Takedown. You can't even be asked to use Double Edge. Come on, dude. Ouch! Oh, you landed a crit. Of course you did. And Greedent fainted because, of course it did. Well. I have no other fairy or dragon moves on this team. So instead, I'm going to pull up stats for these Pokemon. I want to see who's the fastest. Oh, it's Skeledirge? Really? Alright, well, Seabat, you're in. Play him beautiful music. Or alternately, make its ears bleed. There we go. Yeah, see, like I was saying, underleveled, but we got there. And considering the status we were at, we did pretty okay. I really did not come prepared for the eventuality that I'd get my ass handed to me, but we got away with it. Yeah, let's go and find those herbs, those herberts, as we've, complete goofball about, hey. Wow, you mean you found it immediately? Again? I'm not surprised, actually. Yep. And it's extremely red, so... Spicy as hell. Boost your metabolism. Yeah, it'll do some killer things to your nose, too. Among other... You're a big dork, my guy. Very knew that. Ooh, yeah, that sandwich is on fire. That's a little bit potent. Might want to be careful with that. Feed only small bits to your dog very slowly. Very steadily. Yeah, I'm sure you can handle it. You set sun, you're fireproof, basically. Right? Yeah! We got the ability to climb. Hell yeah. Well, you've done some good work for this dog, I think. Do we get to see more results of this? I still ultimately have no idea how the hell this thing got, like what kind of injury. I guess regular, real injuries do sort of exist in Pokemon. And, hey, he's getting up. He did it. And deep down, it's probably because he's like, holy crap, that's a powerful sandwich. This thing did what to the bread? Ugh. Also, careful of them teeth. They look big and sharp, and honestly, like it could probably crunch that Pokeball if it tried. Aww. I've had dogs throughout my entire life, so I get sad when things happen to them. It's undercut by the stripy pants and the puffy vest. I would say no. That is kind of... He is a bit of a fashion victim, huh? I mean, I feel like, okay, they're going for the school uniform thing, but also the puffy vest does kind of make it, like, not work. And yeah, say whatever about the pinstripes on the pants, but the vest, I think, is almost the worst part of it. But hey, Huh? No one else can get into the lab, but... What? That's weird. Dog's just like, huh? The dog isn't that particularly interested in what's going on. But Bostiff is just like, hey, you got any more of that? And then Arvin has to figure out how to do 6-star raids or something. We'll deal with that probably some other time. But first, the rest of the game. What an incredibly yellow nose that dog has. Game can tell me to do that all at once. I'm not interested. See, more importantly, now that we can go climbing places, I unbox this funny dog that I've spent that much resources on. That many resources on, too. And we can... I'll put Duff and Quail party. He'll be useful eventually, Well, I mean, yeah, Hassel exists, so he's got Dragon-type Pokemon. So, Titan might be good for that sort of purpose, being an Ice-type. I mean, there's probably other and better things I could use in a case like that, but we'll hash it out as we go. Truth be told, I kind of feel like I'm missing out on a few types, because there were a few things I didn't really catch a whole lot of. Whoa. Becoming Speed Demon Fish. Now, if only I could find those coins a little bit faster. At 373. And unfortunately, they're like, you really need 999 coins to get Golden Go. You know, we're really gonna push our amounts that you need to get there, just to make this a slightly irritating side quest. And by slightly, I mean, well, I think you know what I mean. I mean a fucking lot. Oh, hey, here's one of these guys again. Oh, that's right. L2 to target, you buffoon. Level 49, huh? Let's go for it. Technically, I'm going to be at a bit of a disadvantage to catch this, but I'm not so concerned about that. That's whatever. I'll fail to land that, and it will use Curse. And that will be really a pain in the butt. The damage that it will deal. Shadow Ball, which is a very normal thing for it to... Ouchie! That's a lot of damage. Yikes. Yikes, 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 yikes. That was excruciatingly painful, which, to be fair, it's got 5 levels on us, and Spiritomb is a fairly strong Pokemon. It just doesn't really have a lot of HP or speed. So you look at something that's... You dick. The time I'm actually trying to catch it, it's just like, nah, I don't feel like it, dude. Okay. Just stole one of my revives and left, basically. Mostly consume... I haven't seen an Eviolite yet, have I? I mean, I can also just feed it a Thunderstone and turn it into Magnezone to get some more power, but... I was hoping to go the Eviolite route. Wow, an Ice Heal. Landing right on this fungus. Whoops. Level 55. Yeah, this is a pretty high level area. Rage Powder is not going to help you here because this is a single battle situation. Hey, look, Sudowoodo. Shiny Stone. Oh, that's a Sarina. Right. I thought it was Lurantis because you can find Lurantis in this area too. As I suddenly acquire a bit of an accent while I'm saying that name. I don't know why that happened. Lurantis. There we go. Pronounce it in my more normal Midwest Chicago kind of accent instead. That's Spidops. These things are still out here? You fucking kidding me? Spidops hasn't retired yet. A shiny Fortress. What color is shiny Fortress anyway? I bet that's something that's a little bit bizarre. So this thing I think is like ground grass probably. It's gold. Okay. That wouldn't be too hard to find, I don't think. I was gonna say it's not gonna be like the color of the tree trunk, or it's the same except the inside is silver or something, right? I would totally expect that you would send me to look for the troll shinies, right? Anyone in the chat, not specifically you, but I don't know, maybe that's just my expectation out of like streaming audiences, period. Maybe that's a little bleak. Oh well. Oh hell. A flying type could probably clean house Let's Go moding through this area, but especially with all the Heracross, a lot of bugs, a lot of grass types. Yeah, Fortress. like it'd be levels in the 55s, right? 55 area. It's gonna have some sort of boom at that point. It's a round object. It basically is always permitted in Pokemon to explode. It will explode. Wait. Oh, hey, Slacking. I didn't know there was a wild Slacking out here. Or maybe I did and I just forgot. But usually I associate that with over in the mountain territory. When you're in part of the lowland area near there, but yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have any... I was like, what gets damp in this generation? Psyduck. Not a lot of things have damp as their ability, I think, because it's just kind of frequently considered to be a little bit underwhelming. Cross Scissor. I don't think we can teach anything X Scissor right now, unfortunately. But that's pretty neat to have as a TM option if we could. Yeah, nothing can learn X Scissor right now. Whoa! Oh well. Might be to be expected at this point, but hey. It's a Staraptor. I thought it was something different. I thought it might have... I think maybe I thought it was a Braviary when it was sitting. What's going on over here? Ah, we got these guys. We got these chuckleheads here. Really? Oh, yeah. Slowbro is a pretty funny Pokemon to break out for the Terra raids. I tend to find that a lot of them you can actually kind of, at least solo, do the stored power cheese strat. You can also kind of do this with 4 players. But anything else, you probably want something a little different, because it'll get disrupted. Honestly, even solo, it can have problems. But when you get it to work, it is very, very powerful. Waterfall, that is kind of nice, but we already have that on Gyarados, so... the amount that we value that right now is not the highest, that's for sure. Anyway, unfortunately, Tatsugiri is going to kind of only take regular damage from any of our attacks at best. A lot of these silly looking birds here. We got that Golduck. Oh, I got hit in the back by this guy. And I'm sure that this Star Raptor is level like 55 or something. 52. I was close. Either way, it's going to be painful. But we're going to try to get out of this fight. And that's the first element of that for us, is land that Thunder Wave to make sure that Electro Ball does the most damage it can. Other low kicks over there. Low kicks would probably be a good Pokemon to pick up for this particular upcoming challenge for us. Oh, that Golduck just walked off a cliff. Oh, that's interesting. Here, you can deal with all of these guys, because Choodle and Dreadnought, they both are going to not have a great time with grass types. Yeah. Stay in the lead. Yeah, you see, those guys aren't really worth a ton of experience, but I do kind of like kicking the crap out of them anyway. The look of Choodle's face just bothers me. Magneton wanted to learn a new move. I'll check out what that was, and very quietly just sort of hoped to myself that it was Thunderbolt. Because the less time I have to spend thinking about how much... Oh, I mean, Discharge is there, so... Discharge is pretty good, too. Then I don't have to think about speed, like, whatsoever. Oh. Another one of these things. Of course. Let's spam some Trop Kick at it, just in case it has any physical moves. And by that I mean, we'll do one, and then we'll just go for Power Whip, and that should probably be good enough. I can say, assuming that we hit. That is a pretty big Slowpoke, yeah. Just sort of hanging out there, being the boss of the plains, or perhaps the king of the mountain. Depending on how high up we are. Oh yeah! That Discharge doing excellent damage. I guess if I wanted a dark type, I could just take a Scun tank. I feel like I could get something a little more interesting than a Scun tank. I've got a couple more northward areas that I'm going to try to go grab those as fly locations. This is perfectly safe for some reason. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I hear. All I hear. Up on the roof. Yep, only one though. Oh well. Anyway, we got those fly locations, so we're going to go back here, and we're going to make our way over to the other North Province area, because we should be able to do that quite easily now that we can climb. And now that our levels are a little bit higher, the battles won't be so terrifying either. That was all Lucius, wouldn't it? Yeah, I see that place with the deep brown dirt. See if we can catch ourselves in low kicks. Ooh. Well, that'll never work again, buddy. Not for you, not in this fight. Yeah, it still outspeeds us. Or was it trying to use first impression again? On the other hand, we've definitely got damage on it, so there's that. Yeah, it's continuing to try to use first impression, which doesn't work at this point. Oh, we got it down real close. And go here. Oh. Oh, broke free immediately. Wow. Going. Good lord, this thing does not want to get in the ball. Well, I guess because it's a little bit over the level of what we're supposed to be at, so that's perhaps to be expected, but still. There we go. We got there. Now, with that being a grasshopper, I got a nickname here in mind already. Goichi, after Goichi Suda, aka Suda51, whose company was known as Grasshopper Manufacture. In fact, still is, I believe, so what am I saying? Was. Well, characterize me as a rube on some weird level. Hey, I can get a reward for Pokedex completion. I've kind of forgotten about those a little bit for some reason. Well, we get a Thunderstone. Cool, that's not actually that helpful to me right now. I already have some of those. But hey, these aren't all distributed in a way that they are expecting everybody to have been in the position that I am, where I've caught almost nothing in this playthrough. Usually if I play these games casually, at least on hardware, I will go through and I will capture all kind of shit well in advance. And of course I won't use most of it, but hey. Found an oval stone. We don't have a Happiny to evolve into Chansey, so big whoop. And in fact, I could probably just go find and catch a Chansey if I really wanted one in that case. That would be a lot easier. Fire Blast as a TM is potentially kind of nice. Oh, hey, there's a Phalanx walking around there. We got the bears. Da bears. Venomoth. You guys are not what I'm looking for at all. You, however, are. Yeah, that's fine. And Gauss in here, and we managed to chip this thing a good chunk, so I'm feeling like we're in good shape to be able to catch this, and it's only level 52. I mean, I thought for sure it'd be something like 60 here, but not at all. Nice move, buddy. Shame it didn't do anything for you, but hey. Just hit it with a couple more of these regular Pokeballs. Surely we can pull this off, right? I mean, if the other one wasn't too bad. Yeah, see? Like, sure, we had to do a couple of turns there, but what with the previous one anyway. Whatever. And you are just going to be called the Edge Master. God, when's the last time I played a Soul Calibur game? It's been actual years. And yeah, this area is not friendly to your frame rate either. Ooh, I forgot how rough that was, actually. So... get me the fuck out of here. I'm willing to bet that Duff McWhalen can't take on any of these, but I'll try anyway. Yeah, see? Too low level. Too low level, my friend. You ain't getting anywhere with that sort of attitude, unfortunately. Where is the Pokemon Center? Is well off to the north and east here. But mostly the east. Look at those things. It's Dearly Whoop and its children. Bear's just kind of sulking over there. At least that's what it looks like. Ah, yeah, I see the Gimme Ghoul. It's up there. Exactly where you would expect it to be, I suppose. Heck. Screwed that up. Let's try it again, 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 try it again. And in fact, maybe even try it again. Nice. Alright, now, I'm going to do a couple more little let's go mode battles here. Just try to shore up a little bit of extra experience for the boys in the party here. I'm not going to bring in our two new dark types who are both already over level 50, so they do not need experience. In fact, they need it the least out of this party. As this Luxray is just chasing us in circles like this. It's really not pleased with our shit. And if it's just gonna use Scary Face, though, I don't care. Go ahead, lower my speed! Doesn't matter! I'm already slower than dirt. Volt Switch, however, might do some... I mean, it did some damage, yes, but that's about it. Heavy Slam for the finish off, just to make sure we get the perfect accuracy. Do you want to learn Leaf Storm? You're not a special attacker, so that's no big whoop for me. Hey, go get the baby bear. Come on. Well, you move about as fast as I would expect a salt rock to, so... Get low kicks. It's being a little argumentative today. Oh well. Whatever. Let's heal, and that'll be it for today. What do you... It's a fungus. Not that concerned about that thing. Not the Pokemart. I feel I was facing the healer a little more, but hey, maybe not. Anyway. Save our game. And that'll do for tonight.